It's been a while since we did a Gauntlet review here, but we've got one for you today, and I have really been looking forward to doing this one. It's been a long time coming. We're going to take a look at the TOPS SXB Skullcrusher. That's coming up on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. So, Gauntlet time, as I said, and again, the knife today is this big honking TOPS SXB Skullcrusher. This knife is designed by EJ Snyder, who's a 25-year Army combat veteran of both the 1991 Gulf War and Operation Iraqi Freedom. You may also recognize EJ's name from the TV show Naked and Afraid. He's been on several episodes of that. I had the pleasure of meeting EJ briefly a couple of times now, once at SHOT Show and once at Blade Show this year. And he is a really big guy, but he's also really nice. But the fact that he's a big guy probably lends itself to why this is such a big knife. And basically, EJ designed this knife because he wanted something that would serve him in a wide variety of roles, in a wide variety of environments, and just get the job done. So let's take a quick look at the specs of this thing. You can see that we've got our upgraded balance testing facility back there. We're certainly going to check the balance of this, but I want to talk about it just for a minute first, because I can't do a video without some kind of rambling, and then we'll get to it. So let's get you down to the old stump top. We'll talk about the specs real quick. We'll get to trying out a couple of the features of this knife, and we'll definitely check the balance. Here we are again with the SXB Skullcrusher from the folks at TOPS, designed by EJ Snyder. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about the specs of this knife because it's already been seen on several different Gauntlet videos, but real quick, the overall length of this thing, it is a big knife. It is 15 3/4 inches long, and it weighs 26 ounces, which is 1 pound and 10 ounces, almost getting close to 2 pounds. It's got a 1/4 inch thick 1095 steel with a Rockwell hardness of somewhere in the neighborhood of 56 to 58, with almost a 9.5 inch blade length with about an 8 3/4 inch cutting edge. The handle is black linen micarta with the Rocky Mountain tread TOPS does, and it has the black traction coating that TOPS does. It also comes with a sheath, which is the standard ballistic nylon sheath that TOPS does a lot of their knives. It's got the MOLLE compatible back on it. It's got a little accessory pouch on the front, and one thing I do like about it, it's got both Velcro and snaps on it, so it does a pretty good job of that. A lot of people don't like these sheaths. I actually do. I think they're really handy, useful sheaths, and it just slides right in. Well, I turn it around the right way. Slides in, and it snaps up. It's got 2 retention straps, one at the top and one at the bottom, with snaps and Velcro. So I really like that. So there's that out of the way. Now, I know one thing that we're going to go ahead and talk about right now. Many people have said this is just like a blown up version of the Tom Brown Tracker. Certainly some similarities there, no doubt about it. I think what EJ tried to do was take some of the design features he liked maybe that worked well in that knife and added his own stuff to it. I mean, it's got some lashing holes here and here that you could make a spear out of it or whatever if you need to. It's got a really kind of a pointy crushing pommel there for whatever you need it for, whether it's defensive purposes or as a tool. It's got a saw back. We're going to check that out and see if that actually accomplishes anything. And then it's got this big thick portion here with a lot of meat behind it, so you get a lot of I think the idea is that's a lot of mass there for chopping. And then you've got a kind of a little straight edge here, maybe for doing some finer carving. And then it has a pronounced choil, so you can really sharpen it all the way down to there. So it's also got a couple of bow drill divots here and here and here, so depending on how you want to use it. It's got a little bit of jimping right here. Maybe that's just if you're lashing to keep it from slipping. So let's just do some knife stuff with it. So obviously it's a chopper. Got a piece of, I think it's privet. It's very, very hard wood here. We're just gonna it's not very big, but we're gonna see how well this thing just does it. I'm gonna give it all I got right now. Are we ready? Wow, that's one pretty good chop there, about 1/2 inch in. Let's try. Let's see if I can get through it all the way. There's another one right there. You got to get back here on the handle. You got some leverage. That thing sinks in there. Okay, so golly, it'll chop. What about, you think this thing will baton? So I got a piece of kind of poplar here, I think. I've been chopping through in the past. Let's see if this thing will, let's see if we can baton this thing. Might not need to, might just be able to use this thing like an axe. Let's try that. And get up here in case I don't hurt myself. There's that. Let's try again. Okay, so really, I guess you could baton it if you need to. Probably wouldn't need to though. Let's see. Let's try this. This thing is crazy. So there's that. How about chopping something bigger? Let's just see how well it does on some actual like axe type chopping. And that's not soft wood. Wow. Okay, so there's the old batoning. What about, you know me, right? You know where we're going with this. What about the fine usage of this thing? Let's do that. For the carve some feathers on this nice, dry poplar. And how easy it is to use this big old blade. And I'll be honest with you, surprisingly, I kind of really thought this heavy in here was going to make it difficult to do anything fine with it. But honestly, it almost kind of balances it. And this is not the best feather wood either. All right, we'll stack those together here. Okay, I mean, you know where we're going next, right? Yep, got a little fat wood here. Let's see how the old fat wood carves. Fat wood has its own unique properties when it comes to trying to carve feathers. It's got a little different. It's kind of stickier. Maybe it'll chop that off. I don't know. What about scraping? Like most tops, it doesn't really feel like it's got a sharp spine, but these saw blade areas are kind of sharpened up. So let's just see if we can get some scraping going with any of that. That's really not going to work. That's really, okay, that's kind of awkward, to be honest with you. And I don't know if this part, there's really nowhere else to, it's going to scrape on it, I don't think. So we'll just keep carving a couple of little curves off here. Well, we got a couple of fat wood curls here. The other thing I'm really doubtful that we're going to accomplish here is, golly, striking a ferro rod. My experience with TOPS knives is they just don't have a really sharp spine, but we might be able to do something here with a saw blade, maybe. Let's just see. And I don't have a lot of fuzzy fat wood here either. We'll just try it and see. Okay, we're going to do the old school way. It will get some sparks. Honestly, it will get some, but it's just really hard to direct them because it is so big. Chewing up my ferro rod pretty good here though. Okay, I give up. I consider that a slight weakness in the overall design of this knife, but that's me. Let's try the saw blade and see how well it does some sawing. We're just gonna grab a chunk of this poplar I just split out and we'll just see. Yeah, you know, it's okay. It's definitely got some teeth on it that are sharpened pretty well. I just think if you had to, you could solve something with it. But honestly, probably the biggest value is going to be probably in making some kind of notch, maybe like that, because it's going to be really awkward to use that saw, especially when you can just chop that sucker in half. Okay, so that was some knife stuff with the SXB Skullcrusher from TOPS and EJ Snyder. As far as chopping goes, this thing chops probably as good as a small hatchet. I was actually really pleasantly surprised by the control you have using this flat surface here, doing kind of fine task. I guess that's because it's so well balanced. We're going to confirm that here in just a minute. Where it kind of falls short in my mind is on, like, just about every TOPS I've seen just doesn't do a good job on the whole ferro rod thing. I know that, you know, you can carry a different striker or whatever, you can use a sharp rock or anything like that, but I just like for my knives to be able to do that. That'd be very easy to correct with just a file right here. And the saw, it will chew into some wood, but it's not going to replace a Baco for sure. But for a one-tool option, which is what this is designed for, it does add some extra functionality to a pretty much an unused portion of the blade back here. So why not throw it in, right? Doesn't hurt anything, and it might help a little bit. Altogether, I really thought the knife was very comfortable to use. And then as far as the handle goes, I like the fact that it's a pretty good size handle. I've got medium-sized hands, so you can see you can choke up here for fine work, or you can you know, kind of catch it at the back here and still get all my fingers on it for some really good leverage for chopping. So all that being said, we want to see just how well this is balanced, and I actually upgraded my balance testing facility with this knife in mind, so let's just get to it. By the way, every TOPS I've seen comes with a warning that says these knives are not warranted against throwing. Just saying. All right, well, that's a quick look at the TOPS EJ Snyder SXB Skullcrusher knife here as a Gauntlet review. Be sure and check out all the other Gauntlet reviews. You can follow this knife and all the rest of them at thegauntlet.tv. Once again, thanks to TOPS for sending this to the Gauntlet so we could check it out. I know there's going to be a lot of folks that think, oh, they're going to have a lot of reasons to say they don't like this knife. I've heard a lot of them already. I got to tell you, I know it's big. I know it's not necessarily the most practical knife. I know it's got, anytime you do a big knife like this, you got compromises. But all in all, I got to say, I like the knife. It's a chopping machine. Actually does a pretty good job on the fine task. And I think you can fix the ferro rod thing pretty well. And it is very well balanced. I mean, when I saw this, the first thing I thought was, I got to redo my balance testing facility. And I almost might have to redo it again after checking this thing a few more times, because it has got a lot of mass behind it when it hits. Chuck Norris does not wear sunscreen. The sun needs protection from Chuck Norris. Anyway, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you knew I was going to like the knife. So I hope this has been helpful. As always, thanks for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing, for clicking that thumbs up, for sharing this video with all your friends. And thank you so much for doing all your Amazon shopping through the Survival on Purpose links. It really helps support the channel, and I really appreciate it. Once again, my name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident. So be prepared, and I'll see you next time. I know what you want to see. That would be very easily remediable. It's just balanced.